Hey everybody, it's build number 15. Today we are going to work on mobility and flexibility. So all you need is your mat, and I would recommend a strap or a towel or a t-shirt or a band, something that will help you stretch a little bit later. And I'm going to be going barefoot today as well because it'll help just keep everything natural and neutral and grounded through my feet. So we are going to start in a child's pose. Put your big toes together and your hips back over your heels. Reach your arms way out in front. Slide those shoulder blades down. Take a couple deep breaths here. Always important to keep the body functioning in a nice big range of motion. So we are definitely incorporating that into our build set. Come up to your hands and knees and then come back and go through these mobility movements, whether with the video or just try to pick out some to do each and every day to help keep the body fluid and young and mobile. We're going to go cat-cow. Inhale, push your chest forward, slide the shoulder blades down. Still keep your belly nice and locked in, and then exhale and round. Push into your hands, tuck your tailbone under, round through that upper back. Make sure your cat-cow is active. Don't just swing your way through it, but really think about what's going on, just as we do in our strength sets, higher intensity sets. Everything matters in mobility and flexibility as well. Here's 3. Let's go 2 more. Slide those shoulder blades down. Exhale, push. 1 more. Space between those ears and shoulders. Really push your shoulders down away from your ears. Round. Push into that thumb and first finger. Perfect. Sit back on your heels. Get a little bit of a stretch forward. Then bring your shoulders up over those wrists. Nice little wrist stretch. Give me 1 more, and then we're going to take little circles. So circle over your wrists. See if you can get your fingertips spread evenly, each hand. So while you're circling around here, keep the belly firm. We've been working on those transverse draws, other direction. So keep that transverse abdominis drawn in, held tight. 1 more here. And then sit back on your heels. Let's curl our toes under. Get a stretch through the underneath side of those feet. Go ahead and shake out your wrists. And then we're going to put them back down. The backs of the hands on the ground. Pull the insides of your elbows to point forward. And then the other direction, you're going to put the palm back on the ground with the fingertips pointing towards your knees. And then sit up again. Put the weight back on those heels. Pull each hand down, the palm facing, and then each hand down with the palm pointing away from you. All right, we're going to go back to those hands and knees, and we're going to do a little hip opener. Shoulders over those wrists. Again, spread those fingertips nice and wide. Really focus on that push into your thumb and first finger. Suction cup your palms. All right, shoulders over those wrists, knees underneath the hips. You are going to try to flex deep. You will flex deep into those transverse muscles. Try your best to keep those hips level. Flex your left foot. Pull the knee so that it's even with your hips. Open the knee out to the side. Bring all the way forward up by your left hand, and then rotate that left arm up. Bring it back down. Pick up that left foot. Bring it up out to the side, and then back around. Same thing on the right. Flex that foot, push up, open out to the side, bring it up and around. Open your right arm up. So try your best to keep that low back stable and still, and twist through your upper back, that mid back. Okay, lift your right foot. Use your core. You got to get that hip up wide. Slide it down and around. Back to the left. Flex your foot, lift the knee, open out to the side, bring the leg up and around, rotate, and back down, pick the leg up, swing back and around. So you want to get lots of range of motion in through that hip joint. The leg goes back, opens out to the side, then comes up. Add in a little twist. Plant your hand, lift that foot, knee comes up, back and around. Perfect. All right, slide those arms forward and we're going to go into a downward facing dog. Drive those hips up and back. I've been talking to you all about your down dogs. If you are unable to get your hips super high in the air with the chest pushing back toward your thighs, then bend your knees. So if you bend your knees, that'll give you the space to drive the chest back. Make sure you hollow out your armpits. So feel like you're sucking your armpits up and into your shoulder joint. If you would like to try slowly straightening your legs, dropping your heels to the ground, that's great. But make sure that your chest stays pushing back toward the thighs, and then check in with the core. All right, we're going to drive in to that right heel as much as you can. See if you can get that heel on the ground. Try to keep your hips level, and we're going to lift and lower the left leg. So drive evenly into both hands, and we're going to work with our breath. Check your upper back. So slide those shoulder blades down. Check your core, wrap all the way around your torso. Check your hips, keeping them as level as possible. Flex into the triceps and the biceps. Get that stretch into the hamstring. 8. See if you can hide your heel behind the front of the foot. 9 and 10. Okay, plant your left foot. Same thing other side. Stay flexed into that back. Check in, see if you notice anything different side to side. 5. Notice if the leg is wanting to turn or twist. Check in and notice where your little catches are, pieces of tightness. 8. You got it. Keep holding strong. 9 and 10. Okay, that right leg, I want you to bring it forward and set it between your hands. And you're going to twist open toward me. And we're going to hit a little spider lunge. So sit nice and low. One leg's going to be straight. You're hinging into that leg on the other side. You can use your hands to help drive you to the other side or bring your hands up off the ground. You're going to slide over and then hit that other leg. You can pull your toe up or keep it down or do a little bit of both. Slide back. Grab the core. Wrap into the back so the chest is lifted. Push back first side. You've got it. Stay safe and healthy. So maybe going as deep isn't working for you. That's totally fine. You can stay up a little higher. Last time each side. Nice slow hinge. Push up and over. Good. All right, go ahead and just take a seat for me on the ground. We're going to give a little bit of a twist and rotation before we keep going. So put your arms in a goalpost. Your elbows are straight out from your shoulders and the backs of your hands are on the ground. Make sure that your feet are just a little bit wider than your hips and the low back is pushing and pulling toward the ground. Rock both knees to the left. And then your right knee should be sitting right inside your left foot. So you can take that left foot, lift it, and place it on top of your right knee, as long as that feels good for you. Take a few deep breaths. All right, take your left leg and remove it from the right. Grab into the core. See if you can get both of the backs of the shoulders on the ground. Lift those knees up to center. Just reset everything, make sure the body's still in alignment, and then rock the knees over to the right. That left knee will drop right inside your right foot, and then put your right foot on top of your left knee. You can feel what's going on differently side to side. Try to relax through those hips. All right, and then we're going to release from the top foot. Bring both legs back up. Hug your knees into the chest. Make little circles around to the right, and then circles around to the left. And then rock and roll your way up. And we're going to go back into a downward facing dog. So we're going to be shifting from a down dog into a pigeon. So you want your hands just maybe a little bit wider. Then you're going to pull your right leg up, the right knee to the right wrist. Drop, but don't release your hands. Push back up through those arms, and then the hips go up. Now we're going to go left leg. Bring your left knee in. Here's our pigeon stretch for today. I'm going to keep them rolling side to side. Work with your breath. Get that stretching through the hips. You're still grabbing through the core. We're going to do 10 total. Here's 5. Feel the core work to pull and push that knee, your legs forward and back. 7. Keep in mind that pelvis. You want it to stay squared off. 8. Flex to the back. 9. And 10. Good. Lower down. Perfect. Push back into your downward facing dog again. Slide those shoulder blades down, belly nice and strong. Bring your hands a little bit closer together. So now we're going to be going lizard lunges. So you're going to bring your left leg up and forward outside your left hand. Keep your back hip up, level your knee up, and then rotate through the left arm, stacking up your shoulders. Let your right hip drop a little more. You want to try to keep those hips squared off and level. Flex into the back, grab through the core. Plant your left hand, drive that left foot back. Now we're going to bring our right leg forward. So hit your down dog, right leg forward, grab deep into that core, and rotate. So we're stretching and getting mobility, but we're still keeping flexions in through the core, the glutes, watching the hips, the thighs, our upper back here. Down dog, right leg, rotate. Down dog, left leg, and rotate. Back to the right. Feel those hips getting open. So good. Push back, hips up. Feel the back staying strong and flexed. Working a little bit in through those shoulders. Feel the health on that low back as well. And rotate. Okay, both feet back together. Hit that child's pose again. Reach your arms forward. Strong through the arms. Keep your elbows up off the mat. All right, so from here, you're going to bring your Left leg forward. We're going to hit up a hamstring slide. Our last little segment, mobility. Then we're going to go in to a little bit more heat. So we're actually going to hit some jumping jacks. Slide forward, feel that back hip flexor, get a pull, then hinge back, pull your toe up, feel that hamstring stretch. We'll get some high knees, nothing too crazy, and some lateral taps. So we're going to go through that, just get the body a little more heated, utilize a little more heat to gear us up for our actual stretch that we're going to go into after that. Be mindful of those hips, get that back hip flexor, and then the front hamstring. 2 more on this side. Lengthen out through that back and chest. Keep your core solid. All right, other side. Right leg's going to come forward. Good. 2. Kind of start to notice which side feels tighter or twisted up. Learn to check in with your shoulders, your back, your pelvis. Notice little discrepancies, how things twist or move or wobble. Last one. All right, as always, if you don't want to jump, you don't have to. Keep both feet on the ground. So we do kind of want to build a little bit of heat. And of course, our heart rate's going to come up a little bit, but it's not super high intensity. So I'm not going to be going super rapid fire. But if you'd like, just step one leg out and then the other, but get those arms going. Same on your high knees. If you'd rather just march, totally fine. Engage through that back for the core. Keep the chest up, and then your lateral taps step as opposed to shuffle. We're going to go 20 each, and we're going to go 5 rounds. So here we go. Movement with core flexion, back flexion. Focus on those hips and where the pelvis ends up. 18, 19, 20. Then side to side. 2. 17, 18, 19, 20. Seventeen, 18, 19, 20. Nineteen, 20. Watch that core. Chest is up. Should find a pace that's sustainable. Heart rate up a little. 20. But we're paced. Can keep it going. Intensity isn't through the roof. 10. 18, 19, 20. Eighteen, 19, 20. 14, 15. 2 sets to go. Keep in charge of that core. 18, 19, 20. Seventeen, 18, 20. Last one. Think about how the legs move from that hip socket. 17, 18, 19, 20. 10, 17, 18, 20. And if doing this whole round isn't something that you can maintain in bare feet, something to aspire to. Our feet were built 19, 20 to hold support for our body. So building up strength in the arches, the ability for those toes to get wide. We need all of that. All right, we're going to start seated. Good job. Pull your left leg in to your inner thigh and extend your right leg out straight away from you at an angle. Bring your toe up. Got some heat. Okay, so bring both arms up overhead. Lift up out of those hips. Rotate over your right leg and then lean forward. If you need, grab your strap or shirt or towel or rope or band and pull. So try to level both hips off into the ground. Your left hip shouldn't be lifting. Your stretch here is all the way from the bottom of the foot through the calf, the back of the knee, your hip, and then into that left side of the back. Perfect. All right. Bring your right foot in, left foot out. Again, lift up out of those hips. Rotate over your left leg and then reach forward. Breathe into your stretches and try to relax. Gentle contraction through the core is fine. Adjusting things to make sure that you're lined up and neutral is great. And then try to just relax into the main part of the stretch, that belly of the muscle. Perfect. All right, come on up from there. And then we're going to open both legs nice and wide. Toes are up. Straddle those feet. If you find yourself really tight and collapsing, put a little bend into your knees and then try to either grab under your legs or put your hands behind the back and lift up out of that stretch, out of the low back, and just relax backs of the knees. backs of the legs toward the ground. Otherwise, pull those toes up, lift up, and then just walk your hands forward as far as feels comfortable for you. So you find a position where you can push your hands into the ground and then pull the hands back without moving them so that you get that traction and stretch through the back. I know a little different pace today, but remember we need all styles of movement and all intensities of movement. High intensity every day is actually not beneficial long term. So you need to give the body days where it still moves, but it's not stressing out. A lot of the stuff we do adds stress to the body, even though it's a healthy form of stress. Still need to give it that little bit of TLC. Okay, so bring your right leg forward and then take your left foot across the leg so that the knee is pointing up. And then we're going to twist so you can hook your right arm around the leg, plant your left hand behind you, and then twist. Keep leveling off, so kind of drop that left hip into the ground. And then before we switch to the other side, I'm going to have you bend your right leg back and then cross your left leg on top of it. So you're basically in a crisscross applesauce position, but you're trying to stack your heels and knees and knees and heels. And then just lean forward for a second. Okay, and then we'll switch up to the other side. Now your left leg is straight in front of you. Toes are up, cross, right leg over the top, and then you're going to twist around to your right. Plant into the right hand behind you. Lift up high out of the chest, out of that low back. And then circle back around, untwist, pull your left leg in, stack the right leg on top, level off those hips as much as you can, and then drop your chest forward. And depending on where you're at in your flexibility, you may be sitting up high. You may even need a pillow or a block to put underneath your hips to help give you some space and get into the stretch at all. And that's totally fine. Totally, totally fine. Alrighty. Grab your strap or towel, and we're going to lie onto the back. Start by hugging both knees into the chest, squeezing your knees together. And then go ahead and loop your strap around your right foot and straighten it all the way up. So depending on your range of flexibility, keep your left knee bent with the foot on the ground. So our goal here is to get into the hamstring on the right lifting leg. So you want to pull the toes back toward your shin and push the back of the knee away from you. Now, if you're feeling a lot of the sensation in the calf, maybe even the Achilles and behind the knee, that's great. That's where your body needs that stretch. But after a few seconds, I want you to go ahead and bend your knee and find the hamstring. So lengthen that left leg if you want, depending on your level of flexibility. Depending on how invested you want to be in your health and wellness and how much time and energy you're willing to commit to stretching, I would recommend one of these stretchy straps. I have teen athletes in my home that need to stretch more than they do, and I'm not always available to help them, and this helps a lot to get them into the stretch that they need. Definitely not required. Just seems helpful to grab these little handles. But again, a towel or shirt can always work just fine too. All right, so you're going to put both sides of your band into your left hand. Put your right arm out with the palm on the ground straight away from you, 90-degree angle, and then you're slowly going to lower that right leg across. So your hips will stack. You get a stretch through the chest, the shoulder, the back, and then, that glute, the piriformis, the hip. So the higher that you pull the toe up toward that left shoulder, the more intense the stretch. And your leg may not go this far. You may be up here a little more. That's fine. All that matters is that you're feeling a safe stretch and then you're able to relax into the range that you end up in. Okay, so go ahead and bend your knee and cross your left ankle over the left knee. Interlace your hands behind the left thigh. We've been doing this figure 4 stretch for years. It's always a really good one. Hamstrings and glutes, whether this way or your pigeon, which we already got with our pigeon pushes. You want to have your pelvis pushing evenly into the ground. Same across those shoulder blades. All right, and then before we switch to the other side, I'm going to have you actually extend both legs down on the ground, straight, and then just feel. See if you feel any difference one side to the other. I usually definitely feel a different side to side once I've stretched one side and not the other. All right, so go ahead and plant your right foot on the ground and put your band around your left foot. And then we're going to straighten through the back of that thigh. So push to the back of the knee, get that stretch to the hamstring, pull your toe down toward your shin. Same as on the other side, if you would like, you can extend your right leg onto the ground, but you just want to keep track of your hip. So this left hip that you're stretching from, that left leg, is going to want to lift off the ground. It's not about how far you can get your leg back to you. It's about getting the stretch into that hamstring, keeping the hip on the ground, being able to relax through the neck and shoulders. We're just going to breathe into the stretch. Give it some time to relax and agree to the stretch. Let itself get in there a little bit. Your body is super smart. It wants to protect itself, and a big stretch like this without some time and without safety measures included is not a good thing for the body. And so sometimes your muscle will contract to support and to keep safe the muscle because it doesn't want to get torn or pulled. So sometimes we have to sit here, lie here a little bit longer, breathe a little deeper, and give the leg time, or the body part, the muscle, time to relax. Okay, put both of your straps into your right hand. Put your left arm out on the ground. And give myself some space. The wall. So your right leg is straight on the ground. And then you're going to twist the left over the body. So the hips are going to come up and stack. Remember pulling the toe up toward the shoulder is going to make this stretch a little more intense. Relax into the stretch, breathe into it, send that oxygenated blood to the stretch. I was holding tension in my right hip. Let that go. Whew. Okay. Pull your leg back up to the center. Level off through those hips. Cross your right ankle on top of cross your left ankle on top of the right knee. Interlace your hands behind the right thigh. Get my rights and lefts here together. So kind of feel your pelvis drop into the ground to widen through the sides of the hips, those hip bones. Flex both feet back. Pull deep into the chest. Oh, feels so good. All right, and then from here, let's extend both legs back onto the ground one more time. Bring those arms way up overhead. You should feel a little looser, a little lighter. Longer, taller maybe. All right, let's bring ourselves up. Use the core, stretch over those legs. Perfect. Well done, everybody. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Keep up the good work. Keep your mobility and flexibility going. And we'll see each other again very soon. Keep it going. Have a great rest of your day.